this again because the first time I forgot to turn on the. I was not able to fully get. Off. Alright. Here's the Firebase. I thought I'd have time tomorrow, but I have to work tomorrow morning, so I will not be able to finish it. But I have it pretty well done still. Okay, so let's see. Just verify that the Firebase works. Yeah. That, and then login. Login failed. The credentials don't match. Registering. Register successful, and we'll log in. Okay, so we got a sound playing, and then basically my goal was to have this image slider or cycle through different images with different descriptions. Navigate a 2D grid, interact with objects, and search rooms and stuff. Do the videos. Got a couple videos. Have the map working. And then I also threw in a step counter, which I was going to use for, like, you have to reach a certain amount of steps before moving each room. So unfortunately, that's about as far as I got. I'll show the code that I have so far, because I mean, it's not a lot done. I got a lot of the back end stuff, and if I didn't, if I would have planned my time a little better, I would have gotten first. Okay, so we have the game view activity. Well, let's start with the main activity, which this is the login and the Firebase authentication. Activity, which is for the 2 videos. And the game view. So this is where the player move. Yeah, we got the move button, that button, all the buttons and interface is game view. So yeah, also the audio is in here. So then we move on to this class. This is the step counter. This sets up the phone to use the accelerometer. One is on, because if you don't do this, it will set your total number of steps. So you have to subtract it by the initial step count. That it'll start off at 0 instead of however many steps it has saved. Database. Do have the database in here. So then this is just the basic building or checking the database and then building and copying it to inside the phone instead of into the assets folder. Alright, so then for the methods in here, we've got the get player location, because I wanted to save all the location coordinates of the player and of the tiles that would be in the grid. I wanted to save those into the database so they would kind of be there, and then you could save and update. This is adding to the grid, or the tiles, which we'll create later. Engine. So there's items you can add, remove, and update the quantity. So assign them to the player from the player. Let's see. So we have, this is the levels kind of builder interface, and this is what all the tiles kind of have common. The level objects that implements that interface. This kind of just returns text and items, and supposed to display it to the text here, but I'm out of time. Then we will go into I guess I'll show that later. Level object. Have these lights. Goal was if the lights were on, you could enter. If they were off, you would need a flashlight or something along those lines to enter there. And entering, yeah, and then also if it's too dark, it'll tell you, it'll return. You need an item in order to get into certain rooms, either a flashlight or a key or something like that. And then a search room, this is where you could search it and look around. And in the game engine, this right here is where kind of like how you build out the tiles and then add the tiles to a grid. So for instance, let's do this Great Hall. So the Great Hall is going to be a room, or a level, I mean. Yeah, level Great Hall, and then level builder, you name it, the Great Hall, and then you can set the lights on. If you add the chest, should be an object, which you should be able to add an item to from the database, which was the goal. About that object, and then store it into the grid, as well as the database. We got the player movement, updates the movement by just going one up north, south, you know, basic XY coordinates, and then validating the room, updating the player location, and putting it into the database to save it. So that is just about everything as that goes. I wish I didn't forget that I had to work tomorrow, so I could have finished this, but hopefully this is enough.